Ladies and gentlemen, it's an absolute honor to welcome to the show again one of the greatest pianists, one of the best composers of our time today, with a career that spans continents and generations. Tom Nix has graced the presence of royalty, world leaders, music lovers alike. He's played for kings, queens, presidents, dignitaries, leaving an unforgettable mark with every note he plays. Known for his extraordinary talent, emotional depth, and timeless compositions. I can't even speak right when you're in the presence of greatness. You get a little nervous. Please join me to welcome the great Tom Nix. Tom, how are you doing?
Oh, Ryan, truly you are the best. I knew that, but I'm convinced as of the last, 45 seconds or so, you are truly the best. Thank you. It is great to be here again with you and Enid. Enid is one of the sweetest towns with great people and just true down to earth. Some of them country folks, some of them city folks. Enid's just a wonderful place. So it's great to be here again.
The response was great. Last video, so many people were watching. A lot of people were commenting like, well, you need to have that guy back. Well, I think it's because we just talked so well together.
That's what we want to hear, right?
Yeah. So here's the thing. How a lot of people they don't understand the gathering. When I talk about the gathering, I'm like, yeah, I don't really have a church building. We have a gathering. You got to experience the gathering today. What'd you think?
I'll tell you what, it has been on my mind and heart for especially the last couple of years. You know, many centuries ago, the accent was on home Bible study, home services, even with music built in most cases. Didn't matter what denomination, they weren't denomination, but what their inclination was, they still had music. And I've looked forward to this for quite a while. I got to be here with your lovely wife. My goodness, she's just everything, isn't she? And the people of your gathering, your home group, the word that comes to mind is a real sweetness. There's just a real sweetness. Everybody was excited to be here. I got everybody singing. I didn't notice you singing very much, but
I try not to.
I
try not to be the show stealer all the time.
There we go. Other than that, they were really singing nicely. And, we've had some strange weather here, especially the past few hours and days in Oklahoma. And I didn't know how that would affect people or how they were feeling about getting out. But we had a wonderful time, and then especially wonderful fun lunch. And now here you and I sit once again. So I'm really grateful and glad for what you're doing. And I don't know what the Lord has in mind with your gathering, or I tell you, but I know it's going to be something good.
We're running out of space, so we're probably going to.
You were out of space today, and I hear there were a lot of people that didn't make it. So.
About half the people weren't there, so I'm running out of space. Yeah.
What do you do with the other half when they're here? They sit on the floor?
Well, we just figure it out. That's what we just got to figure it out. So I don't know, but it's I think it's a special way of coming together as the children of God. As and not so rigid and cold and corporate.
Where does it say in the Bible? I had to realize this myself in recent years. Where does it say in the Bible to build ye the biggest, largest, most extravagant, expensive stained glass pipe organ? By the way, I'm not against all those things. Don't get me wrong. I don't. Most of them are meant to glorify God, and most of them do, or have at least through the years. Where does it say to do that in the first place? It's just not there. So, and the way the world is going and the culture of the whole world, we've got to find again and get back to what works.
Yeah.
And I really believe this kind of situation, it definitely can work. You're closer, you can visit, you can touch and hug a little easier when you're in this type of a home setting. I love it. I'd come up every weekend if I could.
Yeah. Well, you're welcome whenever. I tell you what, they loved you. It was great.
Thank you.
Your playing was beautiful.
That was special.
And you mind if I post any of it?
I recorded a little.
Well, now, no, you're fine. No, everything went pretty well this morning.
Well,
And you're the boss. You're the boss. Do what you want.
The piano isn't tuned perfectly. It was my personal piano, so
It's not horrible, but it does need a good tuning.
but you still made it sound like a masterpiece. So
Well, I've played in so many settings where the piano was really bad,
really,
and there's not time to do anything about it. And some big party or some big political event is coming, or a church service, well, it's 10 minutes away. I call it playing through it. How do I do that? I don't know. But yours, I didn't have to play through, really. It's not that bad.
Yeah.
But I've been in other settings where I had to it's a little different touch and a little different chord structure. And usually the high is horrible, so you don't even go up there and you just make it work.
I think and I don't know if this would really cause it, but we recently got it tuned, but my son left the back door open all day. And I didn't know if that let all the humidity in and like
probably not.
Okay,
you probably need some work. Probably.
Yeah, well, we got a local tuner to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
We need to get a pro from one of those guys from Oklahoma City
For the big city.
Yeah.
I'll see what I can do to help. I'd say let's do that. And then if it doesn't hold again, we know you need some work. I don't sense you need some work, but it is a little older. You could.
Yeah.
But it's still nice, little baby grand. I mean, it was great.
Oh, it's nice. It is. The wood's lovely. Oh, the wood doesn't get more gorgeous on a piano than what you've got. So there's value in that.
Well, now there's a lot of value because you played it. There you go.
Oh, get out of here.
You just doubled the value of my piano.
Get out. If I were to sign it, it'd be even more valuable. I'm kidding. I am not that. I'm not that.
No,
I'm just not. Whatever. I've seen too much of that. I'm not that way.
It's so funny.
Ladies and gentlemen, when he was here, he wouldn't even. He was like, "Well, I'm here to play for you guys," and I was like, "Let me do the introduction." Because he wouldn't tell them who he was and what he's done and the great things. He's amazing, and it's just really good to have you here. I'm going to start listing off some fun questions. Now, if you didn't watch the last one, go back and watch the last one. That where we tell his story and all that, which is a good story. I say that like I'm like, oh, that, but where I thought, let's just have a little bit of fun this week.
You're the boss.
And I'm going to throw you some questions, and you might not know the answer.
If I don't like it, I'll just go silent.
And not only that, this isn't live, so I can edit it.
Exactly.
So everybody watching, there might be a clipper here.
Guys, he's a wise director, editor, writer. He really is. I admire him. He is.
So if your piano could talk, what's one story it would tell that no one else knows?
Oh, Ryan. Good thing you're going to edit. I'm going to have to think a second.
Well, you could tell the story.
If my piano could talk, I'm having to close my eyes to concentrate. What story would it tell that no one knows?
Well, it doesn't have to be. How about what story would it like to tell?
Anyway, that might be a little easier.
Like from a time you were playing.
Oh, okay. I believe I've got it.
Mm-hmm.
Started taking piano lessons at 8 years old, which back then was the standard age in America to start taking piano.
Right.
I realize now, and other people realize now, well, as nationally believed, you can start when the kid is ready. There are American kids ready at 3.5 and 4 years old. I'm one of those that could have started at 4. I know that now that I understand all of this. But we waited till 8 years old. And from 4 to 8, I could not wait. My mother had a piano. She didn't play much by then. She was a mother and raising kids and running kids to, well, I wasn't quite in school yet, but I was within another year. And so she didn't play a lot, but she was a fine pianist. So I came from that culture, in the church music culture. I wanted to play piano and organ so bad. In church on Sunday nights, back when churches used to have Sunday night service, I would have a row of my little friends. We were 5 and 6 or so. And there was 5 or 6 of us on that row of kids. We would take the hymn books out because we might not even be reading the words yet necessarily, but we knew the songs from hearing. We would always fight over who was going to be the piano or organ player that night. We would take the hymn books. Okay, here's the hymn books. I don't know if you can see them. And if I was the organist that night, doesn't that look more like an organ?
Yeah.
2 hymn books, so it's twice as long. The pianist just got 1 level of keyboard, and everybody wanted me to be the organist. I wanted to be the pianist.
Hmm.
Well, sometimes I got to be the pianist. Of course, we were just pantomiming and having a good time, and we were expected to sing. So, victory in Jesus. Anyway, that was kind of silly, but I did give you an example there. I could not wait till piano lessons. So I started a couple weeks before I was 8. So it's really 7 and upwards of 7 going on 8. And then I quickly learned well. I thought I was doing it as it was, not knowing I really was advanced. I didn't know that then. Didn't have a clue. But I excelled real quickly. So then we're having piano recitals. And by the time I'm especially 10, I'm playing in church. By the time I'm 11, I'm playing in public. And I wanted to do all of this so badly. It's all I could think of. Was consumed. Because in kindergarten, I would ask for black and brown and white construction paper to make a grand piano.
Wow.
And so here I literally, I wish I had one of those. Oh, they're long gone. But I would make that grand piano. Then I would cut the little keys out of white and black. I was consumed. So I wanted to do it. I knew I was supposed to do it. I knew I would be doing it. But when it came to playing, really on into college, I was scared to death. From what I'm told, nobody knew I was scared. I guess I faked that part and covered that part. And musically, I was fine because of God's gifting in my life. So I can even remember back to 9, 10 years old when I really started playing. Musically, I was fine. There was no real problem. I was probably advanced for my age. Well, definitely was, now that I understand it. But I was scared to death. I didn't even start getting over the frightfulness until college. And I really didn't become totally comfortable and competent till the last 15 or 20 years. That's what the piano would tell you.
That's what it would tell you.
I believe.
What about okay, here's two. I know one, we kind of talked about it today, so we'll do that one last. But is there a place where you're like, this is the strangest place I've ever played the piano?
A couple of restaurants in the area of Oklahoma City that were in the forest, in the woods, outside of Oklahoma City a little bit, and the restaurants were believed to be haunted.
Really?
Did I experience that? No, not at all. Were they haunted? Maybe. Maybe they were. Sometimes I know when places are haunted. I just did what I was supposed to do. It was like a one-time shot of a thing. Maybe I was there for a party or something. That's probably the strange, because I knew going in, it's documented, blah, blah. So that would probably...
It's kind of a weird place to play.
It was weird. It was weird. That may not be a good answer. Probably not as exciting as you'd hope to hear.
I was hoping like in a swamp somewhere in the Amazon.
No, hang upside down from, like Trans-Siberian Orchestra, hang upside down and play the piano upside down. No, nothing like that.
Playing for presidents would be pretty cool. Was there anything like playing for them anything they asked or requested that you were like, that's kind of weird?
No, because back then for those exact events, I wasn't precisely in their presence.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
I was brought in and there was distance, might have shook hands if even, and no.
Okay.
Could have been, but it not in my case. Just didn't happen.
Like one of them was like,
didn't happen that way.
Like a president was like, "Play me some Freebird."
Exactly. Yeah.
You got to know that song if you play anything because everybody requests it. I remember like when I would play shows as a kid with our little local band, every time someone would be like, "Play Freebird, man," and I'm like, dude, like. That's not even our style of music.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we all have our own stylings. Yeah.
If you could only play one chord the rest of your life, what chord would that be?
What? Oh, now there's a good question. Oh, wow.
What's the most beautiful chord sound?
Okay, let me tell you where it is. I've been going to put this on Facebook to see if anyone even knows what I'm talking about. Here we are. Leave it to Mr. Professional Interviewer. If you know the song from the 40s, there's no way to demonstrate, but I think I can convey it. It's called Tenderly. Da 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 da. Okay, when you get to that last, Da 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 da. F minor, 7, diminished. Oh my goodness, it's heavenly, and if you're listening at all, you just kind of melt into that.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
beautiful.
I mean, I could do that. I've used, now that I learned that years ago, I put that into other settings unexpectedly, and I can tell who the musicians in the room are because they might be talking at a dinner table, but they'll look back like, "What did you just do?" you know.
Say the greatest chord you could ever play.
Yeah. It's sexy, it's relaxing, and it's just beautiful to the heart, soul, and the ears.
That's
Yeah.
you just did the follow-up question. It was sexy, beautiful.
Yeah. What is it all about? That's what it is. Okay.
When you write music, are you more like a daydreamer or like a mad scientist?
Oh goodness.
I know me, I'm more like a mad scientist. I don't daydream.
Okay, I'm really neither, but I would lean toward the daydreamer, lean toward, because I'm a romantic. I'm definitely a romantic. I didn't realize I was a romantic till a few years ago. I mean, I didn't understand. Yeah, I really am a romantic. I knew I played romantic stuff and did it in a nice style, but yeah, I'm more of a daydreamer when I do write. I don't write a lot, but when I do, I'm always pretty happy with what it ends up being. I'm not the greatest of lyricists. Sometimes I have to take the lyrics to a friend who does that, and they'll go, "Well, you should have just blah blah blah." Yeah, pick Ryan, pick Ryan. You know what? It could happen any day now. But I'm always stuck on a couple of lines, if not more, with lyrics, and I need to go have somebody finish that up. And they'll go, "Tom, you should have thought of us." I said, "Yeah, I should have." "Do I get the credit?" "No, I get the credit because I thought of." "Okay, I'll give you the credit." Then you have to split 50-50 on the royalties. And
For the one line.
oh yeah, that's the way it works. It's the way it works. You're just dying to help me now, aren't you?
No.
Maybe I need to be helping you.
I will only help you whenever you ask. It will be free of charge.
Oh well, no, legally you're supposed to
Really?
give representation. You're really supposed to.
I don't even have an agent. I don't really.
You have to have an agent.
Oh, yeah.
You know, once you're writing a song, you're getting copyrighted. It's out there. It goes written by Ryan and Tom. You know, and that's just the way it's protocol of the way it's supposed to happen. So you could get mad at me down the road and come back and say, "I helped him with that line." Well, prove it. Doesn't matter. You'd almost be believed because, and you hear this stuff in the news occasionally. This kind of stuff happens. It's like, okay, just do it right in the first place by Ryan and Tom. Split it 50-50. And if you make it big, you're glad you split it.
Everybody's happy.
Everybody's happy. Yeah, everybody's doing well.
And when you get mad at each other, it doesn't matter. You still got paid.
You still got paid because it's registered. That's the way it works.
Oh, well,
We should. Maybe I should do a piano album with my music.
You know,
Take 5 songs and turn them into piano.
that
would be fun.
Yeah. Now what you're doing is great, by the way. With the guitar driven and the rhythm, it's especially great. But there comes a point it's nice to vary, not totally, of course, because you are what you are, but it's nice to do something with a little different texture and dimension. Yeah. So
Well, and I think piano sounds beautiful. I think it's the best form of music to sing along with. I believe that. Like that, and the other one that would be kind of weird but I think the bass guitar. Like if you have a piano and a bass, or like a cello.
And a cello, those low tones.
Yeah.
Those low tones is what you're talking about. It is believed and has been said, I guess, for centuries, for sure, decades, that an organ, generally meaning a big pipe organ, an organ is the king of instruments. And all my life, organ's king of instruments. It dawned on me about 10 years ago. Organs are majestic. Of course they are. Organ can have great variety, and you get a fine organist, there's nothing like it. But that instrument themselves, I don't believe that instrument is the king of instruments. I believe a piano is. And why? You can get things, and Chopin wrote about this. I won't get into that exactly at the moment, but he did write about this. You can do things on the piano. There are, I believe, I haven't talked about it or read it in a while. There are 13 different touches and things you can do with a single key on a piano. Okay, I don't know about 13, but there are an awful lot. The way you touch it, the way you strike it, the way you hold it or don't hold it, the level in which you touch it to begin with. There's just a lot of things you can do. And then once I start comprehending that and thinking about it, you've got 10 fingers. So let's challenge each finger to do something different, especially on those pretty chords. And you can't get exactly that out of an organ. What you get out of an organ is what it's doing at that very second. Everything's the same. Yeah, you've got all those buttons, but that's for a different sound for what's happening the very same all at once. So I think the piano with its 88 keys is the king of instruments if you know what you're doing and your mind knows what you want out of it.
That's awesome.
So that's my teaching, which I'm sure I'll be bashed over, but I've become convinced I'm right.
And guess what? It's okay to get bashed. I've learned that the hard way.
The hard way.
I have to be the most controversial person probably right now.
And I'll tell you, it might get worse in life again for some reason. Yeah. I've learned at my old age.
So, you played in front of some really impressive people. Like, here's my question, and this is what and again, most people don't realize this because when I would preach in front of people, they always said, "Man, you just seem so relaxed and chill and so genuine and this, that." And I'm like, there have been times where I was just, my insides were nervous or I was
almost nauseated.
Yeah, like almost, yeah. But they're like, "Man, you just look so relaxed and calm." And it's weird. I know what I do when I get in that moment. What do you do? Do you like picture the president in pajamas or something? Like, what do you do to get through that? Like,
okay, that's an interesting question that I can address. As I mentioned, as we started the interview here, when I was much younger, until I was quite a bit older, I was scared, sick, nauseated to death. I don't think anybody ever knew. But even those little recitals at 10, 12, 13 years old, where I remember playing some pretty tough stuff, I was flat scared to death. Did I make mistakes? Yeah, I probably did. We all make mistakes, but I was pretty spot on. Okay, it's in my case, and I think it's different in everybody's case. I really do. But in my case, it's been a journey, and I find it's a continued journey with confidence and experience, and the Lord's grace and touch is factored in there. So actually, the last 20 years now, I think it's maturity would be the top of the list. At maturity and experience at the top of the list. I really don't get nervous anymore. But what does happen that I have to be so careful of, and it'll happen nearly every time, whether it's a setting of 24 or 240 or 2,400, it doesn't matter the setting. There's always somebody at the back of that room or auditorium that will distract me. And my eye will see that one person. It can be as simple as Grandpa Jones frowning at me and he doesn't like me. That will still distract me. All it takes is 1 second. And then I have to quickly regroup to get back together. But now I play a game. One step further than I play a game. I can see you back there 100 yards back. I can see you, and you don't like me, do you? That would have upset me before. I want everybody to like me. I'm one of those. Now I make it a challenge to somehow communicate to that man 300 yards back and get him to like me. In that, now exactly what am I thinking or doing is different in every setting. But in that, it becomes a little bit fun as I'm singing and or playing or whatever. How do I do it? Maybe it's eye contact, or I think in a way, I'm trying to send some kind of energy from the piano and me to that grumpy old man. Does it always work? Nah. Does it work sometimes? Yeah, I'll see it working, and then he might happen to come up to me afterwards. Somehow I grabbed him and brought him out of whatever his problem was. Maybe he was just tired. maybe he really liked me and he just looked grumpy. But I've learned to do that in the past 15, 20 years. It's kind of fun. It happens every time nearly. Didn't happen today at all. Well, you were standing back there. I was worried about you a couple times. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. You better be one of my biggest fans now. But I'm kidding. But I didn't. It didn't happen today. But this is a set group of people that love coming to your home, and they know what they're coming for. And you did a marvelous job with the Word of God, especially good. And he did it. He did it in a short little version too, so he could give me more time. He didn't have to do that, but to condense, he did marvelous with it. And the people were right in there with him. And I'm in a different car, so my favorite Bible is at the house, not parked in this car yet, not put in this car yet. And I forgot to bring it. And I thought, oh no, I don't have my Bible. And as he started, every person lifted up their phone. And I thought, oh, of course, I'm not used to doing it that way. I'm old fashioned paper. And Matthew 21, I think it was, or so.
Mark 11.
Mark 11. Yeah. Well, that's kind of the same. An M, and there's a 1 in there. I thought it was Matthew. Anyway, so I go right to it. And here I am, just like everybody else sitting there, but usually young people do that. You kind of had an older crowd and they reached for their phones to look it up. But that was fun. But it didn't happen today at all. Nobody was grumpy or I didn't worry about anybody, which is kind of nice. But there's usually one, and it's usually Grandpa Jones, and sometimes he's in his what do you call it? His working overalls. His overall. Yeah. He's usually in his overalls. I spot him early on, but then he always sits on the back row, and my eyes aren't gone yet. I can spot him back there. So anyway, that's that kind of answers your question.
Yeah.
A lot of experience has helped in my case. I don't know anybody who's had more experience out doing. And I play gospel. I play hymns. I don't do so much classical anymore. I do a little bit, but I don't want to think that hard for classical, but I can when I need to. I love Broadway stuff, back to the romantic. And I've just had a lot of experience in a lot of different settings. So that has finally helped my confidence. Now, if I am in a setting, and let's say the president walked into the room, which hadn't happened in a while, but I would get a little, oh, okay, I've just got to be absolutely, I can't even hit one note off. The president just walked in. Yeah, I'd get a little nervous over that, but I'd recover pretty quick. Give it 30 seconds. Oh yeah, he's just like us. He's just another human.
Well, see, that's kind of what I do. Is when I look out, because I've been in thousands before, all the way down to 100 speaking, and like you get out there, and what I've done, is look out. I look at the foreheads. I never look them in the eye.
Oh, okay. A singer usually looks in the eye.
If I catch the eye of someone and they seem like they're huffing and puffing, this is what I do. I imagine them sitting on the toilet. Because
I've heard of this one.
Because everyone is a chump while they're taking a dump. And I don't have to feel bad.
Are you going to put that on the air?
Yeah. Like they are. So it's like, there you go. And that's how I get through it. Because I'm like, hey, doesn't matter who you are. You can be the most beautiful superstar of all time, but if I picture you that way, you're not any better than me.
And I've heard the pretends everybody's naked.
Oh yeah, in their shame. Yeah,
and you might start laughing too much and can't recover. So I'm not sure that's a good one either. But oh my God, you're too much. Too much.
I just try to have fun with it. If you had to describe the way you play, and it was a flavor of ice cream, what would it be?
Oh my goodness, you've just got the best questions ever. I knew I could count on him for that, but he's doing it again. What would it be? I'm going to surprise you. It would be vanilla. And now ask me why.
Because you can add stuff to it.
How did you know? You can add your strawberries. Yeah. You can add the chocolate. You can add the pecans or the almonds. Mm-hmm. You could even add blueberries. Certainly pineapple. German chocolate, one of my favorites. So you got some coconut in there. So yeah, it would be the vanilla, and then take off from there, which I Always do. If I've got more than 10 minutes, I'm going to get past the
Yeah.
Medela.
I noticed that today. You started
You,
off, and
you're,
then, and then,
you're
and then,
observant.
and then you started
buddy.
throwing stuff all over, and I was like, now that is a great way to play Jesus Loves Me.
Oh, and I didn't even go all the way because I wasn't awake yet. I just didn't go all the way as I could with Jesus Loves Me.
That was pretty impressive. That's really cool. What about, is there an embarrassing moment where you were like, or a funny or embarrassing moment where you were in front of people and you're like, oh,
Do
I'm
we
never
have to tell?
I mean, you
I
don't
was
have to, but it
in-
makes a good podcast.
I was in college, and I'm a little older than you, so I'm assuming there's people listening closer to my age. He'll still get it. But back in the early 70s, 72 to 75 for sure, we all had bangs. Not necessarily all straight down, but you at least had it parted somewhere and you had bangs. Mm-hmm. And some bangs went all the way down. Well, guess what? Somebody learned along the way that if we use dippity-doo on our bangs, that would help straighten them like we wanted. But before you left the house, if you wanted them really smooth and good, you had to use, don't they call them metal clippies, the ladies? You clippied your bangs to get them just like you wanted. Okay. I was in the dorms at the college in North Oklahoma City, and I was headed to South Oklahoma City to do a portion of a service. I wasn't doing the full service that day. And I'm never late, but for some reason I'm there and people have arrived. I go right down the center aisle to get up close to by the piano, so I'll be ready to go. And I'm greeting a few people along the way, and they're all kind of looking up at me, and I'm thinking, well, I don't have a hat on. And I go and sit on the front row, and I'd sit there a while, and I kind of did something, and I went, oh, Jesus, I'm in your house, the house of the Lord, and there's metal on my forehead. and that absolutely did me in. It took days to recover. I was so embarrassed.
Did you go back to that church ever again?
Yeah, actually I did. But not immediately. Not immediately. I did go back. Some of those people I still know well. They probably remember the story. You'll probably remember the story. I was now anybody my age that we had the longer hair even in the back and over your ears would understand that's how we learned to do it. Mm-hmm. But you take the friggin' clippies out before you even went out the door. For some reason, I was in a hurry. I was in the dorm and probably got distracted and drove all the way down there and walk in with clippies in my bangs. That's hilarious. There might be pictures out there, but I doubt it because we didn't have phones taking pictures back then. That's my very most embarrassing moment in life. Oh, can I tell one more?
Yeah.
Because anybody of any age knows what the world needs now is love, sweet love. And then the same artist followed up with a hit, not as big as that, but it was still a hit. Think of your fellow man, lend him a helping hand, put a little love in your heart. Okay. I was at Channel 4 on a Saturday by myself. I had a group that was a regular on Channel 4 and Channel 9. And that was when I was in high school even. There were 3 singers, a wonderful friend of mine. She'll probably see this. And another friend of mine who has since passed. And we were the wannabe Fifth Dimension. Ultimately, we were all white. But we wanted to be Fifth Dimension so bad. We were good. We were really good. Anyway, so we were always at Channel 4 and 9 doing stuff. But one Saturday, which was odd to be there on Saturday, I'm there all dressed up in my Navy Nehru jacket, my lime green shirt underneath. That makes sense. That's what we looked like then. And I'd be sitting at the piano, so it didn't matter. I probably had black slacks, so it didn't matter what my slacks were. The camera wouldn't have caught that probably. But I'm sitting in the control room. They told me to go to the control room and sit there all by myself. And the control room back then at WKY, I remember it like it was last week because I was so embarrassed. It was 3 levels to sit on behind the control guides. So they said, sit on the front row. Sure, you do what you're told in the TV studio, in the movie set. You do what you're told. You don't even question it.
I mean, you didn't at our last movie set, but that's okay. Well, that's another story now.
Let's save that for another interview, please. I'm still not over that one either. Okay. That would be my third most embarrassing moment. Let's save that for later. Anyway, I'm sitting there, and I noticed as I went into the lobby, there was why they did this on a weekend, I don't know. But they had a big marquee thing on a stand that said, "Welcome, Jackie DeShannon." Well, I was in love with Jackie DeShannon. She had recorded What the World Is Now, one of the biggest hits ever, and Put a Little Love in Your Heart. Well, all it said was "Welcome, Jackie DeShannon." It didn't say "Welcome, Tom Nix." Why wasn't my name on there? I'm going to do some kind of set of music that day. No, my name wasn't there. Hers were. So I figured she'd been there on Friday or was coming on Monday, but I'm just in awe. Well, I'm sitting on the front row. I'm aware somebody comes in and sits on the third row, kind of like a choir loft, up behind me. It's dark in there. I probably couldn't have seen well if I'd have tried. You know how control rooms can be. And somebody's talking, and I said, "Oh my goodness, guys!" I knew the guys already, the control guys, cameramen. I said, "Oh, guys, there's a sign out there, Jackie DeShannon. Welcome, Jackie DeShannon." Oh, I'm in love with her. That blonde hair. I usually wasn't this way, but I was gushing. That person who had come in and sat behind me was Jackie DeShannon. And that was back when she was opening for the Beatles. Worldwide, she was the opener for the Beatles. She was that big. And somehow I caught on. Oh, somehow one of the control guys turned around, said, "Jackie, I need to talk to you for a minute." I didn't catch it even then. Didn't make sense to me. She comes down, and there's a little more light on the control booths and stuff. And I see that gorgeous blonde hair. And I thought, surely not. It was. She had heard everything I'd said. I didn't say anything bad, but I was madly in love with Jackie Chan. I took me months to get over that. I'm just a kid in high school. I wasn't even a senior yet. I was in 10th or 11th grade.
Wow.
I wasn't even a senior yet. I was mortified. Now, she was probably used to that kind of silliness,
Yeah.
but I wasn't at all. And I thought, and I got to visit with her briefly afterwards. She was doing something in a different studio, what it ended up being. And it was, and I don't know why I was there on a Saturday. I was always live. I was nearly always live with Danny's Day or stuff like that. And for some reason, I was there to do 2 or 3 songs by myself. But I mean, I broke out in a hot sweat. They had to retouch up my makeup for the camera. I was just mortified.
She was gracious, though.
Oh, totally.
Right?
Totally. Didn't get her autograph because I've never been that pretentious. I just don't want to bug people like that. But I should have got her autograph. I didn't realize then she was opening for the Beatles. It was years later. I realized she was traveling the world, uh, opening for the Beatles of all things.
That's awesome.
Yeah, really, really. I need her picture and her autograph on my wall. But anyway.
So, as a musician, all right. So, when you watch like movies, okay. So Darth Vader walks in a room, you hear the music, boom, 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 boom. You know, when Indiana Jones, dun 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 dun, 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 what would be your theme music?
Oh, goodness. That is a tough one. Now, I've never thought about that. You're making me think.
That's the fun.
Boy, you're wearing me out today. What would it would be? Okay, I told you I'm a romantic, and I have finally realized that, and I embrace that. It would be something romantic, probably that we've never heard, but it wouldn't be just instrumental. There would be somebody singing. Let's make you guess who it might be. If I'm a romantic, who?
Blonde-headed girl that was sitting there.
Oh, no, she was very soft rock back then, ballady kind of. No, you got to be more romantic than that. Who would be the ultimate romantic vocal? It's easy, in my opinion. Karen Carpenter.
Okay.
She would be singing it, and it wouldn't be quite as militant as the others. It would be a little more sweet and romantic, but it would be driven, and it would be solid, and it would have a confident feel. Shall I write it before our next session?
That's what you should do. These are good ideas. Write your own theme music.
He challenges me, folks. He really does. That's one of the reasons I like him so well.
If you could do a duet with any composer of any time, who would you want to do that
On the
with?
piano?
Yeah.
Oh boy. Any. Oh. There's probably 2 answers. it's off. I've been told it's best to go with your first thought, so I'm going with my first one. Would be Richard Carpenter. We're getting the Carpenters in today, guys. Of course, Richard is still alive. He's quite a bit older than me, so he's getting older. But he's still out there working a bit. I hear and see on Facebook. I haven't been in touch with him for a while. I was a few years ago, but haven't been in touch with him. He's just musically, he's just brilliant. Piano, he's even more brilliant than we knew back in the day. He was doing what their market was and what the market expected of him and her, but he is a brilliant pianist and composer. That would be number one. Number two would be the romantic Chopin. No, that would I wouldn't be nervous around Richard necessarily. I would be a little bit. I would be nervous around Chopin. I mean, that's just heavenly gifting and brilliance.
He created something. His melodies flow
Romantically and beautifully.
Yeah, it's like
that's what I'm talking about.
It's not so technical. Like before Chopin was very technical. Like his is very
Mozart is often brisk and choppy, often, as were others, and he brought in that beautiful, smooth.
I don't know why people give that a bad rap. People are like Chopin, like he's like a bad guy or something. I think he's the best. I don't think there's anyone better.
Maybe because he really, well, I don't know exactly how they perceived him then. I've read a little bit. Nowadays, people perceive him as very, very difficult. And some of it is very, harder than Haydn or Mozart or Bach or any of it. Bach is flowing for the most part and very technical and very mathematical for the most part, if you analyze it. But Chopin was a more extreme, incredibly musical, in a way, what we would say AI, but that's just in a way, just very, could be very technical. Right. And his stuff, you pretty well have to play very precisely. And unless you're advanced, you're just not even going to hardly get there. So I think that answers your question.
But it flows so well.
Oh, that was the brilliance. That was part of the brilliance. Exactly. Yeah,
it was organized chaos.
Yes. Yeah. He brought it together where you got it and you weren't like this, listening. Yeah. I'd be happy just meeting him. I wouldn't have to do a duet.
If your music was a color, what color would it be?
Oh, Ryan.
We did all the other stuff the first time around.
What color? Okay, I'm trying to think what's the first thing coming into my mind, and I got like 5 colors at once. So now I'm trying to narrow down. What color would it be? It would not be a dark color. It would not be a bright, fiery color. So that brings us down to green and blues. It wouldn't be yellow.
Wow. See, I already picked it for you, and I guess I was wrong.
You probably picked red.
I picked salmon.
Why?
It's got that light, romantic color.
Okay. You're correct. But I didn't even think of that. I was thinking primary colors. Give me a break. Okay, he's right. He's right. But that wouldn't have crossed my mind. Again, back to primary colors. Then I was softening the primary colors in my mind. That's the way my mind works. Oh, boy. I think it would be a green, but not a regular grass green. It would be lighter. And why green? Because green to me, and not just to me, it's believed this way, green represents life, growth, and freshness. So I think a medium-ish light green. Edit this one out, Ryan. You guessed me wrong, and I guessed you wrong. Wow. No, that's interesting you say salmon, because that's an interesting color. And that fits in the category of that medium light green. But to me, the life in the green is why I would say green. Who wins that one, folks?
So this was a hard one because you've always thought of yourself as a musician since you were a little kid. But if you weren't a musician, what do you think you would do?
Oh, boy.
It's kind of hard because that's all you've ever been.
I know the answer to that one.
Okay.
I believe he said, what would I want to do? This is what I wanted to do in grade school, but I got over it because I'm not athletic at all or anything. I wanted to be a fireman. I just thought that was exciting.
That's a cool job.
I thought that would be. I just had little fire trucks. And I thought that would be exciting, but I got over that. So what did I really want to be as I got on into junior high and high school? If I wasn't going to be a musician, was either number one, an ice skater. I just thought that was so cool. Or if I couldn't stand on the skates, which I can't, by the way, I've tried. Yikes. A gymnast. So as I got a little older, I'm jumping off the house. I'm jumping off of fences. I'm jumping off the top of my swing set, the picnic table. I never got hurt, but I think it's because I didn't weigh very much. I just kind of floated down. I didn't weigh much. But yeah, ice skater or gymnast. When I got into college, let's try ice skating in case music doesn't work. And I just, I, I just couldn't stand up. But if somebody helped me up, I couldn't get going. That didn't work for sure. So that's out of the question. Gymnastics, well, maybe. I didn't do anything towards it because then the music's really setting in by college. Well, by high school, music was setting in. Definitely by college, it was.
Well, I have a terrible ice skating story, but it's actually a good one.
Did you fall?
Well, so my son, he was about 10, and he can do anything. Like he can skate backwards. He can do everything.
That's
Like,
disgusting.
I mean, I remember we were at a skate park, and there were all these like high school kids, and they were looking at the little half pipe, that you go on, and they were like, "We're not doing it. We're not doing it." And here comes my kid. He gets jumps up there. He's like, "I got it." It was one of the best moments ever when he looked at me, or they looked at him, and they were like, "You're really going to do this? Are you crazy?"
Was that the first time?
Yeah, and you know what? He looked at him, and you know what he said? "It's okay. I know Jesus. He'll protect me."
Is that
Boom. Yeah.
right?
And he did the whole thing, came back, did it again. And he was just like, he's just got, I don't know. He just can
I think we're saying he's a natural.
Yeah,
Is that
he just could do it. So we're out ice skating and he's going, and the skates I have are not fitting well. And I'm feeling a blister
They
forming.
have to fit well on. Yeah.
So I'm feeling this blister and I'm like, I'm done. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. I went around like 3 times. I'm like, that's good enough for me. So he goes, Dad, come on, one more time, just one more time. And I said, you can't. He's like, but do it with me. I said, okay. So I get out literally one more time and we start going around the thing. Well, this little girl falls in front of me and she starts to slide out in front of me. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. So in my brain, now I don't know why I thought this was a good idea, but in my brain, I thought, let's try a triple axel over her,
And this was the first.
Yeah. And it didn't go well. And I came down and I broke my shoulder.
Serious?
Yeah, I broke my shoulder. So like I get up at first and I'm like, I'm okay. I think I can make it home. We were in Oklahoma City. It's like, I'll drive to Enid. We'll go to the doctor there. By the time we got to the car, it was like, we're going to the hospital right now. Like it was bad. And so we go to the hospital. This is kind of a good thing though, because we go to the hospital and they're like, his blood pressure is like 210 over like 160. They were like, well, it's probably because of the pain.
Which can happen. Yeah.
So they're like, all right, well, we'll go ahead and send him home. And, you need to just check that out in a couple of days. We go I go in a couple of days. It's like 205 over like 140. And I would have never known that I had this blood pressure issue.
Oh, so you really did have a blood pressure.
Yeah. And we're just now recently finding out why. I mean, years later, I've been on blood pressure medicine just to keep it down, but now we're figuring out why it was high. But I would have never known. And they said 6 months from then, my organs might have started shutting down because of the high blood pressure. So in a way, the one more time around was a good thing.
Somehow the Lord used that.
But I just know, I wish we could have found out another way because I will not get back. It's like, Enid, we have this like little ice skating thing. And I see parents out there with their kids.
At Christmas time.
Yeah.
I see
and everybody's like,
it's
like guys holding their wives' hands. And I'm like, oh, I want to do that with my wife. Nope. Once you break your shoulder once, I'm done.
I believe you.
It was ruined. This is odd. This is kind of an odd question. I don't know. I'm just curious because for me, this has happened to me multiple times. I will wake up from a dream and I'll have music in my mind and lyrics and I write them down that I've gotten from a dream. And I'm not going to lie, 2 or 3 of those have been people's favorite songs. So it's like, has anything like that ever happened?
Yes, it has. And you're not the only one. Bottom line to that, I believe God does that because he's really got your attention at that moment. The key to it is, folks, if it's happening to you, you got to get up and do something about it. You will not, 9 times out of 10, you will not remember the next morning what and it can be so solid when you've woken up. I mean, every word, every note. And you'll think, well, I won't forget that. I'm going back to sleep. Then you wake up the next morning, or it takes 2 days later. I think I had a song the other night. What was it about? I don't remember. Oh, it really was good. Let's see. Was it country? I don't remember. And you may never remember. So you've got to do something no matter how much you need to sleep. God gave it to you. It's yours. You got to get up and record it. I don't mean literally record.
Yeah.
At least make notes.
Write it down.
At least write the title. That probably would help you remember it. It would help you remember
This was the one, because I kept it here in my little journal note here. And it's, I woke up, wrote this in about 5 minutes, laid back down. The next day, it took me 2 days, and I had the whole song finished. Like,
boy.
But it all formed from the chorus, and it was this: the true measure of a man ain't the words he prays with folded hands. It's how he walks with the broken down when no one else is around. It ain't how he talks to Jesus. It's how he treats Judas. I made a whole song out of that.
That's just wonderful. It is.
Yeah. So I didn't really come up with that. It just came.
Well,
you know,
It just came.
yeah, you weren't sitting around thinking something about a man and da 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 da.
Yeah, it just like.
Yeah. Did you have the melody to it?
No.
Oh, you had to redo that.
I wrote the words down.
And then you did the melody, which it happens in all kinds of ways. That's one of the ways it happens.
And then I made it, but the true measure of a man ain't the words he prays with folded hands. It's how he walks with the broken down when no one else is around. It ain't how he talks to Jesus. It's how he treats Judas. Yeah.
It's interesting you'd ask this, and don't put this on the air. This morning, and it's not even Easter, folks. Easter was 3 or 4 weeks ago, probably 4. I woke up this morning an hour earlier than my alarm. So it's like 5 o'clock. Had it set for 6. I woke up to wide awake to, and this hasn't happened like this in a long time, years. It was so real. I even kind of was startled, like, what is going on? I woke up to a choir. I was on the piano. It was in a Southern Baptist church. And the guy was out the back row behind the audience conducting. What does that mean? I don't know yet. But they were going so in my ears and head. He lives, he lives, he lives within my heart. And I remember thinking, Lord, that's already written. And Lord, it's not even Easter or Palm Sunday. Yeah. This is crazy. So I fell back asleep a little bit because I could. My alarm was set for 6. I thought, I can sleep another hour, which I didn't. I wake up in about 15 minutes with the very same thing happening. Wow. Is it a sign? Probably it's a sign. But he lives? That one's already written, so that wasn't for me for sure. And it sounded really cool. It was like a really good church that sings and the choir sings and all that. Yeah. But I'm up there on a black grand, and the big choir, they weren't in robes to be in such a big church. Same things, and it started out the same. The intro, da 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 da. I serve a risen say, and it was so precise. And when it happened the second time, I said, "Okay, enough already. What are you trying to tell me? Am I not supposed to go to Enid today? I mean, I'm trying to think of what I'm being taught. What that has nothing really to do with going to Enid or not. It's not Easter. This would make a little bit of sense if it were Easter. Easter was the other day. And it was the same replay for about at least 10 seconds. I serve a risen Savior in the world, da, da, da. And the dream stopped there. Both times the same dream. He lives. Okay, that's reason enough to have a good dream. He lives within my heart. That's good enough. But it's like I'm watching and waiting on the meaning of that. And there was a reason why the people were up there in a more formal type church and didn't have robes on in the choir. Big choir of 130 or so. There were other instruments, not a full orchestra down there with me, but there was some violins and flutes and trumpets and all. Strange for it to happen twice, and strange to happen in the first place like that. Yeah. Why? And I've not been in a setting where something like that has happened live in quite a while actually. I don't know. When I get the message, you'll be the first to
That's
know.
so
Since you're the first to hear the story.
And not to make it about me, okay? But it's kind of funny because today I was sharing with someone in the room because I'm not Jesus, okay? I'm not putting myself up next to Jesus. And I said, man, this thing, what an incident happened. I'm not going to go into it, but an incident happened this week. And I said, what it showed me was I no longer have to carry the burden for these people. See, I've been carrying burden for a long time for people because if you make a mistake, you feel like the domino effect is all you. Well, when I saw the way that this behavior was, it made me realize I'm not responsible for that.
At all.
And when they started saying things that just were epically not true, but it is what it is. I'm like, okay, that's fine. I mean, people could tell half truths, or you know what I'm saying, like
Right.
but it's like, but it was epically not true, like everything that was said. And I was just sitting there like shaking my head. It dawned on me, I don't have to carry that burden anymore.
Yeah.
And then something happened to me.
Freedom.
Yeah, I had this real freedom moment about 2 days ago, and somebody
Doesn't that feel good?
Yeah, but somebody came up to me today and they were like, "You're back." And I go, "What?" And this is exactly what they go. They turn and they go, "He lives, guys. He lives."
Did you say that really?
Yeah, that's what they said in there. That's what he said.
See, something's up. Something's up.
They go, "He lives, guys. He's alive." Because I've been dead for a little bit, like there's been stuff that's so I'm just like, I'm on fire and I'm like ready to go.
See,
like,
audience,
let's
there
go.
is something up.
It's time for us to go get that church building. Like I'm really thinking about
Listen, I'm glad to know about this potential.
Because I know that because my house is getting too small. I think you called somebody.
I'm having her listen, so she'd know I'm in an interview.
Oh, he's in an interview.
I'm on a podcast. I told you I would be. She hung up. She forgot. That's okay.
Well,
you can listen if you want.
Yeah, you're on live. Anything you want to say about Tom?
Thousands of people, literally.
Yeah. Do you want to say anything to Tom?
Okay. Bye bye. I'll be leaving. I got to leave in a few minutes. I'll give you a buzz.
That's fine.
I'll be at performances and friends will call, and if I can take a hand and let them listen. Usually they've forgotten I'm going to be somewhere. Yeah. They hear me playing Moon River or Silent Night or whatever. They go, "Oh, I forgot." They won't say I forgot, but they'll listen a little while. I knew that would remind her I was having an interview.
Yeah. So the
he lives.
Yeah,
he lives. He lives
because he was like playing around because we just did the hymn thing, and he was like,
crazy.
"He lives, he lives."
Well,
like,
I wonder if I wasn't supposed to start the service today with "He lives," and I thought, now that doesn't make a lick of sense. Well, I mean, not that it's bad, but I even said driving up here, Lord, they're going to think I'm crazy if I go to the piano and go, "I serve a risen Savior," and I don't even know these people. I just know one of them. So let's not do that, Lord. Let's not do "He lives." But hey, I do know this much: watch for "He lives" things over the next few days. Yeah, I know that much.
It's just wild because it put a fire in me, like that instant, because what happened is I had this. People don't even understand, but it's okay. When you make mistakes in life, at least for me, what you don't want to do is what I did. And this is what I did, is I started to see everything around me that was going wrong, and I blamed myself for everything else after. Yeah. So it's like, okay, if I sinned in my life, then that sin is now spreading to millions of people. That's what I felt. And it was just like, oh my goodness, look at how awful of a person I am, and it was so hard to just.
And where did that come from, Ryan? From Satan.
Oh yeah. Fiery darts left and right.
Bottom line, that's where that came from. Yeah.
And it's like I realize there's two things about me: is I love too hard. I do. Like I when I see something or I feel something or if I have empathy, I cannot let it go, and it's hard for me to let go. But this incident made me go, oh my gosh, I can let go.
See,
not just this little chaos. I can let go of all of it, and I don't have to carry it anymore. And I'm like, Jesus, you've been telling me this for months and I've not listened.
But you got it.
Yeah, but I guess you just had to throw it in front of me and make it so obvious that I had to stop looking at myself, because I was really, it was getting bad for me.
And the good thing about that is you're if you embrace the maturity of that, which you will, when those kind of things happen again on whatever level, you've learned to not take that whole burden and hold on to it.
Yeah.
And you'll be freer moving forward every time. Yeah, it'll be tough. Yeah, it'll be ugly. Yeah, it might even be unfair and evil, but still you can move through a little smoother because you've learned that.
Yeah, as a pastor that went through a little bit, just if you're watching, no, first off, pastors aren't immune to anything.
Amen.
Like and so just remember that. But at the same time, even when you know all the right answers and you believe the right answers, you still are like, what is going on? And it is, there's something in me that has this overwhelming compassion, and I still have it. Like, there are people who literally hate the mention of my name.
Oh,
They hate it, but I look at them and I still love them.
I'm on the same sailboat with you exactly.
Yeah. It's like, I still love you, and I don't know why, because you hate me.
And it's hard to impossible to fathom or understand. Yeah. I'm going through some things right now, and I've had friends say, "What did you do that they hate you so much?" I said, "I don't exactly know. I wish I did know. I'm opening to understand, but it's become so violent. I can't answer that. I wish I knew."
Well, I can sometimes see why people are upset with me. Like, I get it, but I love them anyway.
Why not?
It's like, I don't really care.
Why not?
It's like,
Yeah.
I love them anyway, and I hear what people say. Like, it's just, what's funny is, like, when someone goes to the side and they're like going up to their friend and they're like, "Hey, I'm going to tell you something. Just don't tell anybody." Okay, I want everybody to know that when you do that, 9 times out of 10, it comes back to me.
Oh yeah.
Like,
yeah.
First off, just because of the position I held, plus people will tell one other person and they love to come and tell me, right? So just know that. Like, don't think, oh,
it like you said, 9 times out of 10,
it comes right back to me, and I don't say anything. And this is the thing: the amount of stuff that I know and I've heard, I have not said a thing to hurt anybody. But the venom that I still love them. When they lie, when they just make things up, I still love them. And I'm sitting here going, what is wrong with me?
You haven't asked me this question, but I'm going to bring it up. Probably something I hate the most, and I don't use the hate word, it's just not necessary, but it's the best to just say at the moment. The one thing I hate the most is for me to find out, to me to be the last one to find out something that is about me.
Yeah.
And I go, wait a minute. I found out something a couple of years ago, been going on for 10 years. Everybody thought I knew. And I said, you're kidding. That answers a lot of questions. It answers a lot of questions, but I didn't know it all. Then I'm going, are you kidding? What do I do? Lord, what do I do? And totally false information. I can't even think of, well, I can kind of think of why they started it, I guess. But it's just astounding. But yeah, along the line of, yeah, don't let me be the last one to find out something about myself. Yeah. Isn't it fair that I'm least in the middle of finding out instead of at the very end? That doesn't even make sense if it's about me, especially whether it's true or not. Let me know up front what you've got to say.
It's just wild, because that was something.
Wow.
That like, in the whole He Lives thing, it was like, today I felt alive for the first time in a long time. And again, I'm not saying that to be like I'm faking it. Like,
right,
like I'm not
not
faking. I believe everything I was saying. I believe it. It's just that when you're in a space, and I learned something about medically. So I had to go to this doctor, and again, I don't care. Like, I don't care if this is public. They said that, I guess, I have neurotransmitters in your brain, right? Everyone has them. Mine work extremely fast.
I believe that.
And but they were like, it's a curse, but it's also a very big burden, because what happens is because I can transfer information really, really quickly, but my chemicals in my brain are transferred really, really quickly where they need to go. The problem is they get there so quick that my brain starts to produce more chemical than it needs. And then what ends up happening is that it dumps it all on my brain at one time. And when it does that, when you mix chemicals, it normally comes out in two ways: anger or depression.
Whoa.
Yeah. And so, and here's the thing, they've never seen anything like it. Like the doctors, they're like, we've never seen anything like this.
Well, you're unique. I know that already. So
they're like, they want to, well, they're going to run more tests and do all this stuff because they don't understand. Well, I'm going to be completely transparent. Things that have happened in my life, I will never attribute to a medical condition. I attribute it to sin. Okay. There's the sin nature in your body, right? But my goodness, that opened up my mind to a lot. Like, why was I feeling so lost and alone when I had everyone in the world around me? Why did I feel why did I find myself in these weird positions?
Wow.
And now I'm like, it makes sense now. And now that you know that about yourself, you're like, when I feel that way, and this is what I've been doing, it's just chemicals. It's not who I am.
Right.
And then
right.
I can get through it. And it's funny, just saying to anybody who's listening, when I went to the doctor, they kept prescribing me antidepressants. Well, all that does is produce more chemical, and it just made it worse.
Is that right?
Like, so the worst thing I could have done was take an antidepressant. But they said most doctors wouldn't have known this.
But nobody knew.
Yeah, because they said your panel. They said, and the way he explained it to me, he said, if it was on a 1 to 10 scale, right, you're a 500. He goes, that's how crazy high it is. And he goes, we've never seen anything like it. They go, that's why you can probably do all these things at one time. Now, it doesn't mean I'm a genius. Like, that's, you know what I'm saying? Like, people are like, what are you trying?
It's not even the point.
Yeah, it's not even the point. But it's actually really hard, because I will be so happy and everything's great, and it'll start producing happy chemical, and then it produces too much, and then it mixes, and then boom, 15 minutes later, I feel like I wish
it does. You're saying it happens that fast?
Yeah. Within 15 minutes. And I've lived like that my whole life. But I just thought that's normalcy. I thought when I was really depressed, that's just what people feel like when they're just when they're bored or whatever. It's not. Like, it's a real thing. And they were like, they were like, you've been living with this for your whole life. But it's weird because I've known that, now that I know that, I feel freedom. Like,
see, in your case though, look at what a positive it can be in your case, because of your creativity and your quick action, which I've observed. That's a good thing. So if we can learn how to harness this and control it, you will be a genius.
Well, it's hard because, like, when you're in pastoral ministry, you walk into a room and someone is dying, and you're sitting there with them.
Yeah.
And in that moment, I feel like I'm in my calling. 30 minutes later, I don't know why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Wow.
It's like I feel, but then the next morning I'm ready to go again. And I'm like, why is it like that? Why am I so up and down? And then you have people who come around who will tell you everything that you want to hear. Then you have people who come around that will
help.
Yeah. And it's like, so next thing you know, okay, what's going on? Well, it's crazy because now I know. It's chemicals. Like, it's not anybody, it's not you, it's not them, it's me, and it's not my soul. And I used to think it was a soul problem. I would go, is there something wrong?
Sense, kind of.
Yeah, is there something wrong with my soul? Like, am I that broken that I can't figure it? And now I know it's a chemical issue. And I was like, boy, talk about raising another burden. Like, okay, I'm not that person that I feel sometimes. It's the chemicals, and they're trying to figure it out. They honestly said, we don't know if there's anything you can do.
They'll have to reach out further, probably.
Yeah, and then they found out I had thick blood and a bunch of other stuff, but we're fixing that, and hopefully that's fine. And but it doesn't matter. All of that doesn't matter to me. What mattered was it wasn't, God designed me in a way that's not who I am. That's just what I am. Like
It's the what.
yeah,
It's the
yeah, yeah.
what.
What I am is someone who has chemicals dumped on their brain too much. That doesn't mean I'm this dark, soulless
See,
person.
now you know.
Yeah.
You are describing one of my best friends who called last Monday night with it, and he really opened up. We talk, so I know how he functions, and he's high functioning, very brilliant, actually, very creative. You know who you are. You just described him exactly, and I didn't have anything to say hardly because what you just described, who would have anything to hardly say to help even? I don't even know what to say to hardly encourage. You have described him. I'm amazed. Might you give him 10 minutes on the phone?
I should. I'll give him a call.
It would be a real,
Yeah.
real blessing. And maybe that'll happen even before this airs. Doesn't matter. But matter of fact, I'll be calling him on the way back to the city here in a minute because he's called like 5 times. I'm in Enid. Leave me alone. You know I'm in Enid. We had church. We had lunch. I'm in. Leave me alone. I'm interviewing now. I'll call you as soon as I'm out on the road headed to the city. But you have described him and the way he functions, and he's gotten very discouraged. Thinks that God doesn't love him whatsoever. But everything else you said is him.
Yeah, and that's not true.
It's not true at all.
Yeah,
Again, a shadowing of Satan to discourage and
Yeah.
That I've learned, and you would think I would know this, like someone who's been in the ministry. You would think you would know.
You would think.
But I also think what happens is, unless you've experienced it, you don't really know. And I think God put me through some stuff so I know
For a reason.
For a reason, because now I'm looking at it, I'm like, wow, I truly did not understand so much about myself. Like, and now I'm seeing things that I never saw before that God
In a
showed me.
different light.
And now I'm looking at it and I'm like, you know what, God? Thank you.
Yeah.
They're like, whoa, wait a minute, what?
That's what we're supposed to do,
Thank you.
right?
Thank you for people not understanding me.
Yeah.
Thank you for things happening in my life that I wish wouldn't have happened. Thank you, because now I see something that I did not see before.
You're going to turn the corner and it'll be different.
I could already.
And I look at things kind of like that. I mean, I haven't been in your situation, but things that happen like that, I look at this point in life as a new adventure. I'm kind of adventurous in a way. It's like, wait, this is changing. Okay, Lord, we're going this path for a whole new adventure. You know what? Don't like it. I probably won't be comfortable, but I really am excited about it. You know?
Yeah, I'm doing strange things too. Like last week, out of the blue, I was like, I want a Jeep, so I went and bought a Jeep. You know why? Because I wanted to take the roof off and the doors, and I was like, you know what? I feel free.
It's freeing to drive around.
Don't take your roof off and doors. You'll probably wish you hadn't if when winter comes.
Well, I put them back on.
Oh, okay.
I just take them off and I'm like driving around, like feeling all free. I'm like, freedom, baby. Freedom. I love it. And then they're like, well, you know, the crash star rating is a 1 when you take the doors off. And I'm like, yeah, I got God protecting me.
I'm in a small town. I'm not really, yeah. It's not like I'm in the city or up on the mountaintops or something. Yeah. Oh, so that's the story of the Jeep. Now I understand.
Because I was just out of the blue. I was like, you know what? I want to take the roof off, the doors off, and I can't do that in my truck. I'm going to go get one and do it.
Are you really going to do it?
I already done it. I just put it back on yesterday because the rain coming. I went all week, had everything.
Is it pretty easy to do?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it takes about probably 10 minutes.
I'm not mechanical, so I wouldn't know.
You know, I just said I'm driving around naked.
You know, with no doors, no top.
Are you putting that on the air also?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay,
the car's naked. The car's naked.
I'm uncomfortable now.
Hey, David danced before the Lord naked. My car can drive around without the doors. And
that was for a real spiritual reason.
I know.
You got to keep it in context. Come on.
Yeah, keep that in context.
You wouldn't end up where you would want to be. I'm afraid, especially in this county.
No, definitely. But yeah, it's.
But with the doors on, who would know?
So I think,
unless you got to stop.
I think probably. I mean,
You're welcome to come to the gathering whenever you want. Really, seriously, they love you. It was
Oh,
great.
listen, it was real. I've looked forward to it. I suppose supposed to be here sooner, and some things have happened, and I've looked forward to it, and really felt drawn to it from several weeks back. And as I mentioned when I started my portion of the service, I really don't know exactly what I'm supposed to do because you hadn't exactly said. And I told the people that, and I said, so since Pastor Ryan didn't tell me exactly what to do, I'm just going to kind of go over here to the piano. I'm going to do something, and that's what I did.
Well, here's
This is how I've always operated, and it drives people insane.
I bet I know where you're headed.
Okay.
And I love it.
So when I went to this other church, right, they didn't have very many people there. When I got there, I just started doing what I thought of. Follow the Spirit, do what the Spirit says. Don't worry about anybody.
What
Just do
needed
it.
to happen.
Yeah, just do what you got to do. And then the worship director came in, and she's like, "Well, why would you like me to do? Whatever God tells you to do." They're like, "Well," I was like, "I'm not going to sit here and micromanage you. I'm not going to micromanage the Spirit. You do what the Spirit tells you to do, and I'm going to do what the Spirit tells me to do, and let's roll with it." Right? Boom. Everything grows. Everything's great.
As
Okay.
it should be.
Yeah, that. Then church government gets involved.
You're kidding.
yeah, and then it
You're
just,
kidding.
it
I can't believe that happened.
It staunched everything, and it was just like, oh, here we go. But it's like I've always operated in, I don't need to plan.
Right.
God will lay it out.
Yeah,
He tells us he'll be there.
Yeah, you got
to plan a little bit.
Right.
We got to plan on meeting at a certain time.
And we're going to turn on the lights.
Yes.
Or maybe we won't turn on the lights at Christmas, whatever. The little basics like that.
Well, and I study really hard what I'm going to teach, right? But when I go up there, I don't go up there with this like master plan. I go up there and say, "This is how. Let's just roll." And you know what? It's always worked.
It always works that way.
Well, it's refreshing.
People,
And
it's refreshing.
Allow people to be genuine and real.
Yeah.
There's no reason to have to go up and have it rigid, cold, and planned. And like you go to some church services and you already know we're going to pray, we're going to sing our 2 songs, he's going to do his message.
Don't forget the doxology.
Yeah. Oh, we got to do our traditions. If we leave those out, we'll go to hell.
Literally.
That's what they think.
Somebody will fall away this week if we don't.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness, someone took the picture of Jesus down. Yeah, because he's not an Aryan German. That's why I took it down.
Now we don't really know. And those pictures might have been real pictures.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I said this morning.
And I'll say it again so everyone can hear. I believe this. The greatest picture that you could ever hang up of Jesus in a church is a mirror that says Jesus. And when you look into it and you're a follower of Christ, you're seeing Christ in you.
Just don't get a cheap mirror. I think it's wonderful. Yeah. Get a nice mirror with quality because Jesus would respect that.
Yeah. We can get the kind that they use at the fitting stores that make you look thinner.
Oh, well, you know what? I hadn't thought of that. That might not hurt.
Did you know that? Like, I did not know this. I was reading about it. When you go to a dressing room, they use these type of mirrors that make you look thinner so you buy the clothes.
Not the ones I've been to.
Yeah,
probably the more high end.
Yeah. But you go in and you're like, that's why when you get home and you put it on, you're like, this doesn't look the same.
Not quite the same.
It doesn't look the same as it did at the store. Yeah, because they use these mirrors that make you.
I've never read that, but it's probably the high end stores. I go to the lower end stores like Target and Goodwill.
Oh, yeah,
I'm at Walmart walking around in my formal wear, my Crocs.
Yeah, it's really exactly.
Actually, it's kind of funny if people didn't know because you don't see my feet right now. I'm wearing Crocs.
He is. I saw it when we came in.
Yeah, it's a little embarrassing.
Are those comfortable?
It is for me because I just slide them on and walk out.
Well, see, I have bad feet. Are they cushy, a little bit cushy with support?
Yeah, they got a little support.
I need to try because all I wear is these things you've seen me in all the time. So.
That's the other good thing about a home church. You don't have to come on your ties and suits and jackets and all that.
That'll preach, I think.
And really, when you look at and most people don't know this. Do you know why churches have steeples?
I have known. And it's not so the lightning will strike it and give energy to the Holy Spirit. It's not that.
It has to do with the boat.
A what?
A boat.
Okay, so
I don't remember, but I have.
In early Christianity, when they would gather, because if they didn't have a home or a house, they would flip their fishing boats upside down, and they would get underneath them, and they would meet underneath there to keep shade, and they looked like a steeple. And so when people
Well,
started building them like a boat upside down.
if I were guessing, I would think it would just meaning pointing to the heavens and pointing
Yeah,
across.
That's what
That's
religion's
part
done.
of it too.
That's what religion's done. But the idea,
Spiritualize it. Spiritualize it.
spiritualize everything, but like they would flip them upside down, and it's supposed to represent a boat, and we're fisher of men.
Wow.
So we're out to go fish for men and bring them into the boat.
There's a church in Oklahoma City, actually it's south of Bethany area, that is an ark.
Really?
Not from the outside at all, particularly.
Yeah.
You get inside, and it's just beautiful and fascinating. Totally different feel, and it's an arc-esqueness. I think I've just made up a word. Design, and really, sometimes you just sit there and look up a little bit. That is so cool. Now it's not upside down in the water. That isn't the point. But it's as though you're in there, and there's all these beams and natural-looking stuff, and it's really cool. We'll take you over there sometime. It's interesting. But that your story reminded me of that,
Have to get it. Like, then that's the other thing is they used to meet in homes.
Exactly.
And they would, and that the reason I was saying that was because we go to the church today and they said, well, you better come in your best dress for the Lord. You better bring your best to the Lord. Well, they used to bring their best by showing up under a boat.
Yeah.
And that was when Christianity flourished.
Yeah.
That's when it spread the most.
I've given that a lot of thought lately. Lot of thought. I find it so fascinating.
Yeah, it's not, I can see, first off, it says in the Bible, God doesn't care about the adorned jewelry or what you wear. So when people say you need to bring your best to the Lord, well, you can bring it, but he does not care.
Like
bring your best, your heart and your mind.
Yeah. Bring
your attention, your focus.
Yeah. And even then, God works in the way he needs to work with you in that moment. You cannot force someone to do it. Yeah. And that's why love is what brings out the fruit. It's not fruit, then love. Mm-hmm. And that's where everyone gets it backwards. Yeah. It's like, I know a lady who's like, well, I'm going to get involved with the church. Well, she's overly involved. She is overly involved in every single way. Why? Are you doing this out of love, or are you doing this because you think it pleases God? Mm-hmm. Or are you doing this because you just like to have control? I don't know. But I can tell you right now, it's not out of love, because people aren't feeling love.
Yeah, exactly.
And if they're not feeling the love. And that's another I've heard things like when, I don't want to say his name, but I'll just say that there was a pastor that I really enjoyed. And when he left the church, it felt as though grace got sucked out of the building.
I've seen this such happen.
And this is what happened. Like, someone said this to me the other day. They said, it's odd because we have so many of these same people around, but we feel like love left the building. And it's like, that's so sad, because it shouldn't come from me. It should come from Christ. And it should come from inside of you. Uh-huh. And so don't look to me for love. Look inside of you and the love will come out of you. And I pray for success for all of these churches, all of them. Every church in this town, I pray success for. Even the ones that I disagree with, because at least they still teach Jesus.
Right.
But I wish that they would stop saying, do these things to please God, instead of love God and allow his love to motivate you to do these things. Because once you understand the complete love of God, you want to get up and do.
And that's solid. I just had an idea from that sermon. Your church, the Love Church. No. This is going to sound corny, but hang in with me. The Fruit Church, love, and under that, love, patience, kindness. Fruit Church would get people's attention. They'd go, that's crazy. But then you're talking about the fruits of the Spirit as part of your name.
Well, you want to hear what I was thinking? This is probably crazy.
I do.
The Rooster Church.
Okay, explain. I explained mine. You explain yours.
So what did Peter do before the rooster crowed?
You can't argue with that.
He denied Christ 3 times, but Christ still loved Peter. I will love you no matter what you've done when you come into our church.
You can't argue with that.
Even if the rooster has crowed 3 times and you've made mistakes.
Is that why you got roosters in the living room, those metal ones?
Yeah, well, the podcast is Rooster AM and Rooster, everything.
I just got it.
It all has to do with Peter.
I just got it.
Peter is the one who made his mistake. He did it 3 times. He not only lied, but he denied. And then the next time Jesus saw him was on a beach. Well, not a beach, but on the shoreline making breakfast. And what did he say? Go feed my sheep.
See?
He didn't say, how dare you, Peter?
Yeah.
He said, go feed my sheep. He gave him a calling. He gave him a name. He gave him love. And he denied him
and
3 times. And a purpose.
A reason, and there you
Hence,
go.
I wrote a song called Peter. But like you think about that, and I'm like, that's the opposite of what the church is today.
It's become a machine, etc.
Oh,
You've made a mistake, not once, not twice, but 3 times.
For sure.
You're out. You're
For
out.
sure, we've got 3.
Yeah. I'm like, you know what? Peter made 3, and Jesus said, I love you. Here's your calling. Here's your name. Here's your purpose.
Simple. How simple and beautiful.
Yeah. So I don't know. The Rooster Church.
A few years ago, we could talk forever. A few years ago, I got not burdened, I got real tired of things going on in the church, nationally, worldwide. Some of it I'd been a part of because of who I was working for and with. Questioned some of it, I have to be real careful here. Questioned some of it early on. Well, questioned a lot of it early on, not some of it. And so kind of after the fact, I'm not traveling with evangelists or musicians or anything. I was daily saying, Lord, 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 Lord. Oh, I'm so tired. I'm weary of all of it. And I'd still see it on TV and hear it on the radio and see it in the magazines. And I'm going, Lord, Lord, I'm just not so sure. Not that I'm trying to judge, but I need to know. I just need to know. And after a lot of crying out literally like that, I said, Lord, I'll go on. I'll be fine. You know me, but I really need to really know what, Lord, I need to know what I need to know. What is it? And I've only been spoken to audibly a handful of times in life. He said, it's quite simple. Me crucified and risen. And it kind of was just this swoosh. And I thought, my first thought was, well, that's just too simple, Lord. That's just too simple. You crucified and risen, of course. But he said no more. So I'm mulling over this the next few hours, a couple days. And I really do get it. I've been released from all that legal stuff.
Yeah, it's legal.
I'm going to say stuff.
Yeah.
You say several things. I started to say junk and garbage. But I was released from a lot of stuff. I'll say stuff. He said legalism, and that is part of it. Definitely part of it. But that wasn't exactly what I was referring to was legalistic stuff, but it could be. It could be.
When a church says, if you don't believe this way
and act this way,
then you aren't real Christian. That's legalism.
It happens in the evangelistic arena around and auditorium around also. Yeah. So I'm thinking through, and I finally equate, and I read a lot. I'm a pretty good thinker. Okay, we're back to him crucified and risen. Thank you. That really is it. And then I really got it. What does that really mean, him crucified and risen? Real simple. Love.
Yeah.
And that's been 15 plus years ago. I'll still see things, hear things, think back on things and get a little weary. And I'll go, no, wait a minute. I don't have to, my mind doesn't even have to go there. I may be seeing that, but I actually saw someone on Facebook yesterday, just some stuff. And I'm going, oh, back to those days. Oh, Lord, are we still doing that kind of stuff? And I immediately felt that pressure. Then I thought, no, wait a minute. Him crucified, him risen, equal love. Now, it equals a lot of things, of course. But in simplicity, crucified, risen, love.
Yeah. Here's
one is I want to address the comment that someone left on Facebook. He was trying to be snarky, right? And he was like, well, show me anywhere in the Bible that God gave grace without repentance. And I'm like, the cross.
You didn't even have to think about it.
like that's exactly where he did it, because not one single person deserved it. Not one person.
And there it was.
Yeah, and he gave that. That was the grace of Jesus, the grace of the Father to give up his Son for that moment for you,
Mm-hmm.
and he got nothing in return for it.
Yeah.
And he said, forgive them. They know not. He was talking to the people who did not know or believed.
Yeah.
So he was giving himself up for them in that moment out of grace and a gift.
Wow.
And none of them had repentance in their heart.
Wow.
The repentance will come when they see the love.
Mm-hmm.
That's where repentance comes.
And it's so simple.
Yeah.
We've complicated everything.
But
It's so simple.
But I guarantee if I wrote that, he'd write a dissertation on how I'm wrong.
You know that?
Yeah, that cross is not the same as someone sinning today. And I'm like, yes, it is. Because Peter sinned. Paul sinned. Peter sinned. Okay, here's the other time. Peter denied Christ 3 times. Did not ever once go to Jesus and say, I need to repent. I need that. And Jesus gave him a purpose, a calling, and a name. And he said, feed my sheep.
Uh-huh.
Jesus did not care about the sin. He cared about the heart.
Uh-huh.
And that's where the church totally misses it today.
Right.
And then they'll say, oh, you're just one of those grace guys that say sin's okay. And I will quote Paul, by all means, no. Sin is not okay. It's not good. It's bad. But preventing yourself from sinning isn't what makes you righteous. Christ is what makes you righteous.
There it is.
And this.
There it is. Oh boy.
That was the one thing. I don't remember what the second.
We could continue on in this realm until Wednesday night. Easily.
Yeah. Oh, I know. But, yeah. So I know we're going really long, way longer than what. Well, we're an hour and 30.
Oh, I've got to get back to for the tornadoes come.
I know
I'm not afraid. I actually like tornadoes.
We're in Oklahoma, ladies and gentlemen, and when the tornado sirens are going,
it's tornado season.
Yeah.
It's the epitome of tornado season, middle of May. And they were out there yesterday. They're going to be out there in another couple hours. I'm not afraid of them. I'm fascinated by weather and tornadoes. Fascinated. So I'm not afraid, but I still need to get back to my puppies before they start rolling in.
We're those idiots who sit on top of the roof and watch. You know?
Oh, you're one of those too? I should have guessed. I really should have guessed that. I didn't even thought about you doing that. Of course you would. Yeah. With your ice chest and and maybe the camera, in case you get a real one, you can capture it.
Hey, y'all gonna see my demise out here.
It's just right over there, by the way, just a few yards away now.
Whoa, there went my car. Did y'all get that?
I mean, if it's going to take it, it's going to take it, right?
Maybe this thing's going to go viral. You know? All right. Well, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you again. I can't wait to come back. Now, when I come back for church, we don't have to talk again, but you're the boss. I just do what you tell me to do. So,
well, maybe we can do a song next time.
You know what? That would really be fun. Yeah.
A Judas song, the one I had a dream about. That'd be a fun one.
I think you recorded it.
Yeah, it's all recorded.
I've heard it. I heard it the other day. Yeah. You know what? You could do so many things. You just need to decide what you're going to do. You're a lot like me in that way too. All of them.
Hey, guess
good
what?
Response.
Hey, and this year alone, I've been in a movie. What?
Totally unexpected. Totally unexpected, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wrote 10 songs and gonna be recorded by a record label.
What? And they're out there like crazy. Those songs are already out there.
Yeah.
Come on.
I don't know what else. I'm writing a book called Martin and Me.
Are you really?
Yeah, it's about me and Martin Sheen spent together. And he's going to be on the show next week.
I'm witness to that.
Yeah.
It was true. They were together on the movie set for hours on end. I'm witness to that.
He's going to be on the show next week. So.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait.
It was quite an experience I think for both of us. So,
you know, he's yes, he's a superstar, but he's very unique.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Very unique and very insightful, very thoughtful. A true gentleman. It's all there. All the good stuff is there.
I was told that producers told me I can't talk about it, so never mind.
Oh, I understand. Oh, we'll do that later.
When the movie's released, then I can talk about it. But
I can't wait.
Yeah, but yeah, really good moments.
I saw a little trailer thing Friday.
Did you? I've not seen it.
It's barely a little trailer thing, but I think technically you'd call it a little trailer thing. And I'm just going, boy, we're getting started early. I love it. Oh, yeah, well, I didn't see that scene shot, but those are the right people. Those are the right costumes.
Okay, so this is, man, I don't know how much I can talk. All I know is this:
You
is
can
that,
cut it out if you.
yeah,
Yeah.
they were so incredibly gracious to my family. I'm in it, my wife's in it, my son's in it, and they were just so gracious. And
You're all going to be superstars
Yeah,
now.
well,
That's
no,
the
we're not
next.
gonna
That's
say
the
that.
that's the
But-
next step.
But it's just funny because it's like I had all this tragic happen, right? And it was almost like, God, you're trying to show me something. Like maybe I'm just not. Maybe I am not what I thought I was. That's what I was thinking. And then a week later, and then a week later, he's like, "Here's everything you need moving forward. Here you go. Here you go." And now I want you to still be a pastor, but I want you to be pastor to people who don't have access to pastors like this, you know. And it's just,
and look what's happened.
oh, I've got all these country singers now I'm talking to. I'm talking to these actors and actresses. I mean, God's been just really good. There's no money in it, but there is a lot of kingdom work in it, and it makes me feel good.
And
like
it adds up. It'll
yeah.
all add up.
This is kingdom work, and that's all that matters. And so
priorities, folks, priorities.
Yeah. You can knock me down, but God's the one that's going to lift me back up, not
See?
myself. And
Yeah.
God's lifting me back up.
And you don't even have to ask him. It'll
Yeah.
just happen.
Well, he did it while I was angry at him.
That too.
Like I literally was mad at God. I was there on multiple levels, and I'm going to have this happen, and you'll probably want to watch this one. My counselor is going to come on, and I'm going to let her.
You told me.
I'm going to let her. I'm going to let her diagnose me on
air.
On air.
When is this going to happen? I cannot miss it.
I think she's coming in a couple months. She's going to come down.
Yeah, you told me that already. That is so fascinating.
Because she's like Ryan. It would be pretty unique to be that open about you're crazy
on the air. Yeah. On the air. Yeah. Guys, I'm a little bit aware of this. If this makes the air, and it will be. Now that could be viralism. I made up another word, didn't I? Viralism, big time, because I kind of know a little bit of both sides of this. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Can't wait.
But I also want to protect family, so that matters. But
well, you have to. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to wrap up. Thank you so much.
Thank you again, your lovely wife and your wonderful son, your beautiful home, your all gracious spirit, your openness, and to the people you're shepherding. It's all good, and it's only going to get better, as it should.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Love you guys.